So now that the FOMC meeting has come and gone, I think we have confirmation that the short cycle is indeed going to play out in gold. So you can see today, after the FOMC statement, the dollar has rallied. It rallied enough to break this downtrend line. This evening, the dollar is holding above this downtrend line. So I think we've got all the confirmation we need that the dollar did put in a daily cycle low here, and I suspect this is going to turn out to be an intermediate cycle low as well. I put the 10-day moving average in there. You can see it's turning the 10-day moving average up, which is also usually a signal that a cycle has bottomed. So now let's move over to the euro. So here's the euro. You can see today we dropped below the 10-day moving average. The moving average is turning back down. This cycle is 24 days long. They've had a tendency to run up to 40 days or even longer. So we should, I'm going to say the euro should probably complete a failed daily cycle here. And by that, I would expect price to continue down and drop below this cycle low right here. And then I'm guessing we're probably going to need another short cycle on top of that. So, you know, to break this daily cycle low, we've got to go below the 23% retracement. I'm going to say that the odds are very high that the euro is going to at least retrace back to the 38. So we're probably going to drop somewhere down at least into this area by mid to late October on the euro. And here we have the yen. You can see I mentioned the other day that this was a failed daily cycle in progress. Got the previous daily cycle low right here. The cycle topped on, what was this, day 5 or 6? So extremely left translated. Needs to break this intermediate trend line to confirm the intermediate decline, which it is pretty clearly it's going to do that here pretty soon. There's again, these cycles have tended to run about 35 to 40 days. We're only 13 days into this. We've got a lot of days left before this bottoms. It's even conceivable that the yen could come back down and retest this yearly cycle low right here before this intermediate decline bottoms. And I don't think gold is going to give us a final intermediate low until the yen bottoms, the euro bottoms, and the dollar tops. And I just don't see that happening until the earliest would be a bottom in this yen cycle, which, like I said, still has a lot of days left yet to run. It could possibly even see a retest of this low sometime in October. So now, while there's a good chance we're going to get some kind of bounce off this trend line, and that may turn out to be the daily cycle low in gold, but this bounce is going to just be a bounce out of a half cycle low. It probably won't last more than 3 or 4 days, maybe just a bounce in order to kind of come back up and tag this declining 10-day moving average in here somewhere, and then we start down again. So I'm going to say it's not going to be safe to try and catch a bounce out of a daily cycle low in gold because it may not last very long. So, you know, I saw a lot of people, again, trying to pick the bottom in gold, and gold hasn't even formed a swing yet. Sentiment is, short-term sentiment still isn't, it still isn't very excessive yet. So I don't think this daily cycle is going to bottom this week. I don't think that the dollar or the yen or the euro, either one, are ready to deliver any kind of a counter trend, short-term counter trend move. So it's too early to try and pick a bottom in gold just yet. And unfortunately, I think this means that we're going to break this 1300 support zone, which, as I noted in my last video, is probably going to be a bad sign. It's probably going to open the door for the metals to just fall right back into this basing pattern that they've been in all year. So somewhere here we'll get a bounce, but I don't think it's going to be a very strong bounce. 2-3 days, 4 days maybe tops, maybe enough to just we may actually even turn this into one huge super long daily cycle. So we could come down tomorrow, Friday, and then maybe find a bottom sometime next week, bounce, which would give us like a half cycle low, and then we continue down and find a final intermediate bottom sometime in late October or maybe even early November. Again, I'll say this again, that intermediate cycle declines, they need to unfold at least as an ABC correction. So this is what we got back here. A wave down, a bounce into a B wave, and then a C wave down into the final bottom. I suspect that gold is going to set up to do something similar. Somewhere in here we're going to get some kind of a bounce. It's probably going to be fuzzy as to whether or not that bounce is a daily cycle low or just a half cycle low. Either way, I think we've got confirmation now that the currencies have completed their trend changes, and the currencies are now ready to give us an intermediate degree counter trend move. So wherever this bounces at, I wouldn't expect much out of the bounce. And then we're going to get another leg down that could theoretically could come back down and retest this July low if the yen retests its yearly cycle low. So we've just over the last couple of weeks, every time we have an up day, the bulls jump in thinking that the bottom is in, and it's just not yet. And they're trying to pick a bottom again today. It's still too early. We don't even have a swing yet. I doubt that we're going to bottom, get any kind of even a more than like a 1-day bottom. I doubt that we're going to get any more than that until the yen and the dollar and the euro are ready to give us some kind of 2 or 3 day counter trend move, and I don't think any of them are ready to do that just yet. So I think it's going to be next week before we get a more significant bounce in gold, something that could last 3, maybe 4 days before rolling over and heading back down. But I just don't think it's going to be worth trying to catch. You're going to have to catch the exact bottom and then catch the exact top, and you may only have 3 days there to do it. So it's just, in my opinion, it's just not safe to be trading gold from the long side now. I think we're in the declining phase of the intermediate cycle, and in the declining phase of an intermediate cycle, no matter what it is not the correct strategy to buy. You want to either sell dips or you just want to stay on the sideline. And for me, I'm just going to stay on the sideline because I expect this 1300 support level is going to break, and we saw what happened when 1200 broke over here last fall. I don't really expect that we're going to have this severe of a decline, but when we break back below this 1300 level, it's going to open the door for possible retest of this yearly cycle low.